Water. Earth. Fire. Air.
Hi and welcome back. So today we're going to talk about astrological element. This is gonna be fire. No! What? I just started filming. I literally just pressed record.
Venus, Alpha, Venus, Bada, Disco! Turn down for what?
Hi, welcome back to my channel. So as you know, we're all made out of elements. We have our physical body, our bodies, our connection to the material life on this world. We have the air that helps us breathe and talk and sing and do all these wonderful things to communicate with each other. We have water, which we're largely composed out of. And finally, we have fire, which is the temperature of our body, which allows us to actually live and sustain life. So all these elements, they come together in harmony in astrology, and we're all composed out of those elements. Now, many people know their sun sign, which is their main astrological sign, but we also have a full astrological chart. I'll show you an example of what mine looks like.
Hey there, demons, it's me, your boy.
And that chart includes many different zodiacs. So you actually could have your main astrological sun sign. For example, me, it's Aquarius.
You know me. I got you.
It is an air sign, so you might associate most with air sign, but your astrological chart also has a dominant element in it. So my dominant element in my chart is actually water. You can go on the link that I'll leave down below in the description box, and you will be able to put in the information of your birth of date, the day, the time, the year is very important, and then you will get your full chart and it will tell you which element is most dominant in your chart. So maybe you might think that you're fire, but actually you have mostly water dominant in your chart. Just like I thought that I mostly have air, but I have mostly water, and then earth, then air, and then lastly, the least is a fire. So we're going to talk about those today, how they're expressed through you physically in the world, and how you can compensate for the things that you're missing in your chart. The water signs are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, and those are the signs that are characterized by being intuitive and in tune with their feelings. Now, if you have a lot of water in your chart like I do, then you may or may not cry 1 to 5 times a day.
Hey, how you doing? Well, I'm doing just fine. I lied, I'm dying inside.
So if that is you, don't worry, because there's definitely something amazing in being sensitive. It doesn't mean that you're a baby that is easily hurt. It just means that you're sensitive to everything around you, to change and to your environment. And it doesn't mean that you don't accept the change, it just means that you acknowledge it fully and you need to make adjustments before you move on with things emotionally.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Like water signs are very deep and they want to get to the bottom of a situation, to why a person feels a certain way, to make them do something or not do something. They want answers to everything. They're very curious as well. People with a lot of water in their chart tend to be quite psychic and have very good intuition.
But did you know you can even pour water out of thin air? There's water in places you never think about.
They also tend to have very intense dreams. They interpret things to a level that nobody else does. If you have a lot of water in your chart, then you're probably a person that is very sensitive to the situations around them.
Why are you crying?
They definitely are opinionated about those situations also. I would say that one thing to work on for water signs is not to take things so personally.
That was very condescending.
You know, just put things in perspective. Sometimes it's not about you, it's not about making you feel bad or good. It's about the world, you know, it's about other people also. So try to get out of that bubble and not suffocate yourself with emotions.
Dixon, you okay?
Yeah, man. You said we could walk around. I'm just walking around.
Why walk around?
Now, if you lack water in your chart, I would say do the exact opposite. Try to focus on how you feel in a certain situation and ask yourself right away, why do I feel this way? How could I feel different? And really let yourself dive into your emotions. Sometimes it really helps you cleanse your soul.
Do you want to build a snowman?
This is my own private domicile and I will not be harassed!
The earth signs are Virgo, Taurus, and Capricorn. And those are the signs that help us realize that sometimes we need a solid base and a nice foundation before we go off with our adventures. Earth signs are the signs that will remind us that resources and functionality is above all at the end of the day. They are slow and steady. They tend to be builders who take their time to build things brick by brick.
Oh, we march from here to there, and it doesn't matter where. You can hear us push through the deepest.
And make sure that every step of the way is done correctly before moving on to the next. If you're an earth sign, then your friends likely think that you're extremely reliable in terms of resources. So you're probably the one that always is on top of their game when it comes to bills and when it comes to planning ahead.
It's free real estate.
So your friends can really count on you for those type of things. If you have a lot of earth in your chart, I would say one thing to look out for is to become overly materialistic and to want resources too much beyond what you need. So try to keep yourself grounded and remind yourself that if you have what you need at the end of the day, you don't need to stress yourself more than necessary. If you have an underwhelming amount of earth in your chart, then you should probably look at the foundation of your projects and see if you start it well, if you actually build it properly before you build on top of it. Because people who lack earth in their sign tend to be impatient and tend to want things to happen really quickly for them when they do not. So they just give up and they move on to the next thing, which the best thing to do is stick to it and hope for the best.
This is me, and if somebody has a problem with it, then that's a you problem and not a me problem.
Deja vu, I just been in this place before. Higher on the street and then
Fire is something I have the least in my chart, and it can be expressed in different ways, whether you have a lot of fire or not a lot of fire. So the astrological signs that fall into the fire element are Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries. So like fire itself, fire signs tend to be very passionate, dynamic, and intense people. Fire can keep you warm, which is why fire people are very easy to get along with. They're usually quite popular in social settings. People just generally feel good around them. But the thing with fire, of course, is that it burns as well. So what happens when fire burns you? Well, it's not pleasant and it's very sudden. And this is the temperament of most of fiery elements. They are very spontaneous in the sense that they combust spontaneously. You can never predict what their mood is gonna be like. Another thing with fire is that it burns out quite quickly if you do not add more fuel to it. So fiery people, while they're very energetic, they tend to have a short fuse and also a short amount of storage of that energy. So once they reach the point where they're tired, they tend to be very cranky and difficult to reason with. So yeah, watch out for that. A single spark can set a whole forest on fire, which is why you need to be careful if you deal with fire people. If you lack fire in your chart, like myself, then it is likely that you have a hard time making people feel at ease and make people feel very welcome around you. So I feel like a lot of people think that I don't like them, even if I do. Somehow my personality doesn't come across as warm to others, you know, which is okay, because if you get to know the person, eventually you will decide if you like them or not. But as far as first impressions go, if you lack fire in your sign, I recommend trying to be extra friendly and extra warm and smile a bit more when you say certain things, so that people can really sense that you are there for them and that you care. Air signs are all about ideas and notions and movement. They really cannot stay in the same place for too long, whether it's physically or mentally. When a strong wind hits you, you cannot help but move. Air energy is very much oriented towards moving and towards intellectual ideas and development.
This means hello.
The air signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Many air signs also tend to be space cadets and kind of all up in the air with their thoughts and feelings.
I only hear what I want to.
They are very rational with their decisions, so unlike the water sign, they're actually not emotional and see everything from an objective point of view instead.
Welcome to Health with Cardi B. Now, if you have an inner vagina smell, you need to go to the doctor.
Air signs are really spontaneous, so they're very fun to be around. It is likely that your air sign friend or family member, co-worker always stirs things up in their environment, which honestly, you can never get bored, so there's that.
I'm with you.
Gay is in the building. Throw your hands in the air right now. Put your hands in the air right now. Yes. Okay.
It is likely that you're very good at seeing things from a subjective point of view. You're probably a really good advisor to your friends.
On behalf of everyone at Delta Airlines, we want to thank you for paying attention. Now, as we prepare for takeoff, please relax and enjoy your...
If you're an air sign, your friends probably see you as very resourceful and fun and unpredictable. The thing that you might have to work on, however, is trying to be more emotional and try to put yourself in other people's shoes, not just intellectually but also emotionally, and work on your empathy, because you might be lacking in that.
You're
for hugging me.
If you have an underwhelming amount of air in your chart, that means that you might want to actually do the opposite. So you might want to see things from a subjective point of view and put your emotions aside at certain times to try and see the bigger, fuller picture. So that will be all for today. I hope you enjoyed, and let me know in the comments what you would like to see next. Ciao.
It's always it's better now than it was.